Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to challenge myself a little bit using this lovely Garden 12 by 12 designer series paper. So I'm going to open this on camera for you, and my challenge to myself today is to make some more masculine themed projects out of this designer series paper. And I also have another challenge for myself because I really only have 1.5 sheets of black cardstock left, but I wanted to give myself a little bit of a challenge using this designer series paper. Now, this is not something that you would normally see me using. Most of you know that I am a little bit flower challenged, and this is quite heavy on the florals. So of course, with the name Lovely Garden, you would expect it to have a lot of floral colours. But I want to encourage people to look at the reverse side and also to check your labelling either online when you're looking at this online so you can see what the coordinating colours are for this, or you can check it on the actual packaging. So basic black, blueberry bushel, crushed curry, garden green, fresh fuchsia, and melon mambo. But I may not be using those colours. I'm just going to keep that off to the side so I can refer to it. And the other challenge I have for myself for this is to just use 6 sheets of this. Now, this is going to be part of a gift for a retreat that I'm doing with Danny Edwards, which is I think it's the last weekend in April, 25th to the 27th. If you live in Melbourne or nearby and you want to come along to that, I'm going to put a link to that retreat below. Now, with the retreat, it is a non-residential retreat, and one of the gifts that the ladies are going to be getting are 6 sheets of this pattern paper. Now, I know a lot of my customers, they don't want to use florals on their pages. They scrapbook for their boys or for their grandchildren, who are mainly boys. But I'm just going to flip this over and you get a whole new look to this paper pack. Now, if you've come over from close to my heart, this very much reminds me of a mix-in paper pack. The good thing about Stampin' Up packs, though, is that instead of getting 6 sheets like we used to get with Close to My Heart, we're getting 12. Now, this is the only one here that I think wouldn't translate. So I'm going to flip this over, and I actually haven't checked this. I've only just opened this paper. And big bonus, instead of it being a heavily floral paper, it is more a green tone. Yes, there are flowers here, but the eye will mainly look at the leaves. So I am thinking I'm going to be able to make some masculine projects with this to put on display for the ladies so that they can copy the layouts if they wish. So I am just going to take out 6 sheets of this, because that's all they're going to be getting to work with. This is the gift for coming on Friday. There are different gifts for each day, and you can either come as a day tripper or you can come for the whole weekend. So as I said, I'll put those links below. We do have some places left, and I'm hoping to get this video up before I go away on a bit of a trip. So you may not see as many videos from me over the next couple of weeks as I am going on a girls' trip, and it's a little bit exciting. And I'll be posting photos to Instagram and probably my Facebook page so you can see what I'm up to if you'd like to follow along. Okay, so here are my 6 pages. What I'm going to do now is work out which ones are going to go together. I do have some garden green, so I think that will work really well. Predominantly, I know that the black will work really well, and I'm not going to use basic white for this because I think it's going to be too creamy. I'm going to use white willow. So straight away, I'm thinking these 2 might go together well. These 3 might go together well. And if I wanted to, I could bring in touches of green to this one as well. And I could bring in touches of these. So I'm going to make a couple of scrapbook layouts. And I'm also going to make hopefully some cards with the leftovers, because not all of the ladies scrapbook and some of them like to make some cards. So I'm going to see what I can get out of this. I'm going to go and do a little bit of cutting, and then I will be back probably with some dry fitting or maybe even completed projects, because I am on a little bit of a time crunch. So this just might be a bit of a layout and a card share rather than a process video on what you can do with something that is heavily floral and make it a little bit more masculine. One thing I want to mention before I get cutting is that I've brought some garden green in here, and you can see this is available right now in two-tone cardstock. There will be more two-tone cardstock coming soon. Release date I think is 6th of May, but this we already are able to order, and you can see that picks up the light tone and the dark tone of this gorgeous paper here. Now this black cardstock is the old CTMH one. This is all I've got left with it, so two sides are exactly the same, but I do have some black scraps from Stampin' Up. So I'm just going to move these off to the side and bring those in just to show you the difference. So this is the black from Stampin' Up, and this is actually a two-tone cardstock. I'll see if I can find a bigger piece here. So you can see the two-tone of the black with Stampin' Up is a true black, and then there is a grey colour, and I love this option with having two sides to black. I haven't had that before, so it opens up more possibilities. But looking at all my scrap pieces here, I do have some A4 black, but it's a bit too black to match with this. But I might be able to get some photo mats out of my scraps. So if this is at least 3 inches, I'll be able to get a photo mat out of this. I could do 2 by 2 inch photos, but I prefer to have them a little bit larger. This one is a 4-inch piece, so I'll be able to get 4 by 4 or 4 by 3 photo mats out of it. Oh, this one's a bonus. It's a 6 by 4. And this one is a 4 by 4. So I am going to keep these out to cut photo mats out of. So I'm back to show you what I've created from the paper that I've chosen to use. You can see there's 4 of them on this actual page here. What I've actually created are 2 double page layouts and 5 cards, and I have some leftovers and I'll bring those in. What I've created are basically foundation pages. I haven't done any stamping on this one. I've stamped a title on the next one, but I wanted this to be a fairly generic page because I'm not particularly sure what photos I'm going to put on this one yet. And I'm loving how the black, the white and the garden green all look together. It makes for quite a dramatic page, but also quite fun depending on what photos you want to put on here. You could have any style of family photos on here, especially little boy photos. You can have birthday photos on here and add some little balloons and things like that if you wanted to. You could have photos of down at the park because there is this little leaf element here. This pattern paper here does have a little element of floral, but it's quite subdued, and I don't think it takes away from the masculine type feel of these layouts. I'm going to bring in the products that I've used to create these. So the main 2 punches I've used on this one is an old tag punch that I have, but I know that a lot of you might even have a tag punch, or you're able to create ones of your own, or you'll have a die that you'll be able to use with this. And then this is the Happy Labels punch. So I have used that for these little strips on the end here, and I have chosen the ticket style one. Now there's something I want to show you that is left over after you punch your strip. You get this little piece left over. Now I had 3/4 of an inch strips. This one will do 3 different sizes for each style, the scallop and the ticket. So it's very versatile. And for the ladies that I'm sharing these layouts with, because they're going to get half a pack of this paper, plus some white, some black and some garden green cardstock, I'm going to let them know to keep this little piece here because I've actually used it on the next double page spread. Normally, I just sweep these pieces off the table and put them in my recycle bag, but I actually had them sitting on the side of my desk when I was making the next double page spread and thought there might be a way that I could bring them in, and I quite like how they look, so I'll show you that in a moment. The tags I've cut from White Daisy cardstock, and then I've also done some tag toppers with the pattern paper. And the twine that I have used, I'll link everything below if it's still available, is the Natural Tones linen thread, and there's a garden green colour in here, so that was perfect to do my little tag strings here. And the dots that I've used, I've mixed them up between the Earth Tones Shimmer Gems and the Neutral Matte dots. So this one is all paper with some punches and some thread. There's no stamping involved for this one. Now for the title, as I said, I left that blank, but you could definitely use this mini alphabet die set because they are just the perfect letters to do a double stacked or a triple stacked title here if you wanted to. These are just the right size, 2 letters on each tag here, so you could have virtually 3 lines of title here on these tags if you wanted to. So let's go on to the second layout that I have created. And I've used every sheet of the pattern paper with the sides that I thought were a more masculine feel rather than the floral side. This is a bit of a tried and true design for me. I love doing the squares on an angle here, and I did this, I think it was in either the 4x4 or the 5x5 mixing scrapbook guide that I did, but I had them going across the middle here like this. So that was the inspiration for this. I have recently done a layout where I use squares just on the corners, on each opposite corner. I will link to all of those things below so you can have a look at them. But for this one, I decided to fill up the corner pieces here, and for my leftover pieces that I was cutting off, I was able to fill in the little gaps like I've got here. I have inked all of the edges with black ink, and I really love how doing something like this brings your eye into the photos. And if you remember, I was working with minimal black cardstock, so I basically used up the scrap pieces that I had left over from other projects, and I had these two larger sort of strip size, so I've cut them to the same height and then spread them across like this for my photo placeholders. And then these are all journaling elements, and this was the perfect spot for a title. So what I've used is the recent celebration stamp. You might have picked that up if you're a scrapbooker. I'm pretty sure you would have if you shopped with Stampin' Up. I love the size of this day here and all the mix and match titles you can do. So I've done a perfect day. I have stamped this one using a stamping platform so that I could do really good inking on this. I find this one a little bit hard to do just with one inking. So because it's quite solid, and I just want to make sure I got it right. So I did do that with double stamping, and it's come out perfectly. And then I've just fussy cut out the letters rather than leaving them as one strip. And you can see I've brought in another punch here. This is the bow punch. I've used this a lot. I think it's perfect for masculine themed pages, or even for florals if you want to put in a few little sprigs. So this one's become a workhorse for me. And I have punched some of them with the pattern paper, this check, and this check here, and then I've added in some black just for a little bit of extra depth, and I've just used the Earth Tones Shimmer Gems for these, the green ones and the white ones here. My neutral dots that actually go with the Botanical Textures collection, I have used these so much, the black and white ones are nearly all used up. I think black and white are the ones I use the most, so I would love to be able to buy multiple sheets of just black and white ones of these. But I think this has turned out really well. Now, can you spot the ticket ends? I have only used the black ones on here. This is the little piece that I was referring to just a moment ago. When you punch it, the waste that comes out of the bottom here is just this little piece there. And I think it makes a perfect little tab sort of accent on the edges of a large photo mat. So this one has 3 of them stacked up. This one just has 2 to balance it off. And you can't even really see where the joins are. I love that little additional element. I'm just going to I'll bring this one up so you can see. I think it really adds a nice little touch to finish off your page. So this one, again, minimal stamping just for my title here, but you could definitely use those mini alphabet dies that I showed before, or you could bring in the alphabet a la mode dies and put those on that piece if you wanted to. All right, so let's bring in the cards that I've made. And I have gone fairly simple and quick to do because the ladies are coming for 3 days and they like to work on their own projects, but they do like to use the gifts that they're given. So as I said before, this gift is for Friday. There's a different gift every day. I'm not going to have a chance to record anything before I go away. I actually leave tomorrow for a couple of weeks on a big trip, as I said. So I will work on those projects to give them some samples when I come back. But this one here, this is the same formula for these 2 cards. These are on 3.5 by 5 inch note cards. And I apologize to everybody. I keep calling them 3.5 by 5.5 because I have the old A2 size standard card in my head at 4.25 by 5.5. So these are definitely 3.5 by 5 inches. It's got a card panel here and another one on top. And the sentiments that I've used for this are the greetings for all mix and match. And there are 3 different sheets of these with different fonts and messages on them, but you get 2 of each sheet. So there's 6 in each of these. And I think they're really great for finishing off a birthday card, a thank you card, a Christmas card, a really quick card that you don't have to do any stamping and inking for. And they're basically done. So you can see I've used the tag punch again and I've laid it up with a couple of pieces of the pattern paper and then have that sentiment there. This is where I brought in the circle punches. So I've used I've got them upside down. Turn them around this way. So you can see there's a 1 3/4, a 2 inch, and a 2 3/8 inch circle. So this is another simple card here, just with circles that I've put onto a card panel and then trimmed down, and I've just lined them all up so that they're at the same heights running across and nestled them into each other. And this one here, I've done something similar to this back in Close to My Heart days with strips of paper, and then I've used the 2 circle punches here for a place for my sentiment to go. And this one here is another tried and true one that I like to use, just rectangle pieces of pattern paper that you offset and then put a sentiment on. And all but this one are using some ribbon here, which is a new ribbon, and it's called the Woven Textures ribbon. I think that's what it's called. Let me spin this around until I find it. Oh, it's just called ribbon on the front. I think it's called Woven Ribbon, and it's in the Botanical Textures collection. But you can see it's got a little bit of texture to this, so that's quite lovely. And this has worked in really well with this lovely paper packet. Now I'm going to show you what I've got left over from doing my pieces here. I'll just put these off the side here so you can see them. So obviously I had this piece left over. I've actually put some of the garden green cardstock in here that we're going to give them because I did gut out my green base. But there are a few little pieces left over here. I punched a few extra circles. I'm just going to check on that size. Yes, it was 1 3/4. So this is basically what is left over. So you could definitely make another layout with this. Or what I could do, and I'm just going to do this so that you can see, is replicate these cards, just turn the pattern over so that I have florals. And that is going to give a totally different look. I've got another one down there. Got a few hanging around. But you can see how that instantly changes the look of the card from a more masculine card to a more feminine card. I'm just going to bring the layouts back in again. I'll just bring in this one that has the rectangle strips because I've got some paper here so I can show you just briefly what that would look like if you turned the paper over and you did the cuts with the other side. So you can see I can layer this up. I've got another sheet here and another one here. Let me just tuck a little bit of this one down. And then I've got this one here. Doing the patterns this way with the tone on tone and the more masculine type feel, you get a totally different look to what you would get if you use the floral side of this paper pack. So if florals aren't your thing, when you look at a catalogue or online, I want you to click on the images or look in the catalogue and check out the other sides of the papers because you might find that these colorways are going to make some fabulous scrapbook layouts and are more your style than using all the florals. That's more the floral side of everything. By flipping it over, you're going to get a totally different look to your projects. Now, I am hoping to get another video up while I'm away, but if I don't get around to scheduling that video, I'll put a playlist below for my scrapbook layouts so that you can go through those and maybe watch something that you haven't seen before. I really appreciate all of your support, watching my channel, leaving lovely comments. It really makes my day when people leave comments on my YouTube channel and are watching along and sometimes crafting along with my videos. So happy crafting, everyone, and bye for now.